sit here with the legendary K-Stone, aka Dogmatic from Promatic, 8 Miles on. Dogmatic, talk about your influence on Detroit hip hop, day one.
Okay.
As a whole, from the Ichabod days, the phrase 313, from
All of
touring with the
that.
Ghetto Boys and stuff like that. Just talk about your influence on all of us.
Okay, bet. I might have to fix me a little drink for this one. But okay, so you want to go all the way back there? You want to go to the beginning? Okay.
Yeah, I could try,
Yeah.
Mumford days.
Okay. Oh man. So the hot to try days, man. That you talking about like 89, 90. Like high school, ninth grade, eighth grade. Um, man, I remember that. Um, I remember that pretty well. That's when I was on Maze Records. We started off in the hood, of course, and then we got recognized through the hood, through 8 Mile, and then a lot of them dope boys over there was feeling what I was doing, and they was like, this little nigga here finna be something. So, I got a few of the people in the hood to put some money behind us, and you know what I mean. Well, I mean not me, but my brothers and my older brothers, they were connected in the hood like that. So they got a couple of these guys to put some bread behind what we were doing. So that's when we went to the studio and finally did a studio recording. Like at first we was just in niggas' basements recording. This was the first time where we actually went to the disc and got some stuff mixed and mastered. And we did I think that the first record was the Motown record, um, Motor City Sire. I think it went something like that. And then from there we met Al Madden, and he produced the Hot to Try. And he took us to a whole other studio, which was Slick Tracks. Um, and we did, he produced the Hot to Trot over there. So yeah, that's way back. I'm trying to remember this shit, man, but you got me going back, buddy. But so when we got that record done, that was the first time really somebody put some bread behind us, got it pressed up, really got us a CD out, and we got the stickers. You remember the K-Stone stickers with the 313? Yeah, and we plastered those everywhere, and I think that was really, a big influence on what people are doing now, because I don't think people were doing the stickers that hard with hip hop. I think back then stickers were more so a party promotion type thing. But we did the K-Stone stickers. We saturated the city. We dropped Hot to Trot, and from there, Maze. That's who was putting money behind us. It was Maze Productions, and he took us to Houston. And man, I think I was maybe 16. We met Jay Prince, the Ghetto Boys, all of them, and we spent maybe almost 3 weeks there, close to a month, just recording and learning. We were supposed to be going there to learn and see how they doing what they're doing down there. And so we met Jay Prince actually picked us up from the airport, um, took us to his condo. He had Doug King in there. I wonder what happened to that dude, Doug King, the white boy. He was the one who produced Mind Playing Tricks on Me and a lot of other the hits that they had. And he produced a couple of songs actually on the 601 album. Later in my career, I reconnected with him and DJ Ready Red. But yeah, during that time, the K-Stone times, we was connected with the Ghetto Boys, Brad, Scarface, DJ Ready Red, Bushwick Bill, Willie D. And also, they had some other groups back then that was dope. Raheem, uh, the Death Four, a couple other cats that was on Rap a Lot that didn't really make it out the roster like that. But so we spent a lot of time with them guys doing that. Hit back to the city. Next thing we know, we hear Mind Playing Tricks on Me just blowing up maybe about a year later. And we like, man, we was just with all them dudes, you know. So that was the birth of the Ghetto Boys. Really, just blew up, blowing up. So that was that era, and you know, some things happened with the dude who was putting some bread behind me, where we really couldn't make that move anymore because they was connecting in the streets and they had a lot of heat on them, a lot of shit, you know, that popped off with them where we had to leave that situation alone. And not only that, K9 was, you know, caught up in some street shit that he ended up getting killed right around that time. And so it was like a real dark time, you know, for me as a rapper, because I was still a young nigga, like a young nigga, man. I was like 18, 19. And I had to move off my block and move to the east side. My best friend just got killed. We lost our record deal because of it. We was getting ready to get signed, you know, with that Maze thing and all of that. But after Khalil got killed and then he got pinched on some other street shit, we had to leave that situation, and then we ended up going to Joe Bryant. So Joe Bryant was like, excuse me, I'm gonna take y'all niggas to another level, you know. He already had Detroit Most Wanted popping already, and Somali and all of that. So I was like, okay, that might be a good look for us to go ahead and sign with Bryant. So we did the Bryant, and that was the first time we actually had an album um, to actually have did a whole album. Was with the Bryant Records. We did the 601. And that was through Ichiban, through Bryant Records. And when we did that album, I reached back to DJ Ready Red from the Ghetto Boys, Doug King, who did Mind Playing Tricks on Me, and they helped produce that album. And this, you know, you can see the credits on the back. And so a lot of people didn't know that, but yeah, they helped do that album. And that album did pretty well. We got a big shout out from Tupac on the Digital Underground album. And I was like, wow, you know, but Tupac wasn't the Tupac that he is today, but it was still, nevertheless, it was Tupac. He was like, you know, he sent us love for using the Humpty beat, because they had like a Humpty award, and everybody that used that beat, that do, you know what I mean? It was the same beat they used for Humpty. So he was like, you know, we gonna shout out everybody that used that same beat that did it well, because a lot of people used that beat. So that K Stone Walk Through Hell had that loop in it, and so you know, Shock G recognized that shit, and he gave us a shout out, put us on the back of the album, and Tupac, you know, shout us out on the album. So that was dope. And so, you know, we grew from there, and I toured with, I met Breed after that. We got signed. Well, we already with Ichiban, and after that, Breed was also with that label. So he was like, yo, this nigga from the D, he a little nigga, he like my little bro. I'm gonna take this nigga on tour with me, because, you know, I met him at the label, and he was cool, and he took me on tour with him. And that was really the first big tour that I ever been on. I was on the 20 Below MC Breed tour. We went everywhere. And then when they did the Gotta Get Mine, I can't remember, because I know he was working on an album while we were touring. I can't remember if it was dropped in the middle or if that was the actual album that the Gotta Get Mine was on. And that's where we, you know, used to meet up with Tupac out on the road. And when he would meet up with him to do Gotta Get Mine, he didn't do all the shows, but when we went to LA and Chicago, Tupac showed up to do that record with him in Atlanta. And it was just, you know, that Gotta Get Yours, Gotta Get Mine. That was a really hot record. So I was on tour with Breed at that time. So that was you know, that was dope to be able to do that. Spent time with him, Tupac, you know. Actually, Jack Frost was my label mate as well, and he didn't get to tour with us, but he did some spot shows. So we had some good times, man. So should I be looking at this camera round, or is it cool? I'm just looking down. But anyway, I'll look up now. But
tell me some, you know, all the big stuff you've done. I remember racing home to see a video on BET or Walk Through Hell or You and Moody Man, aka Mr. House, or after losing K9 and losing Proof, after all that monumental stuff you done in your life with Promatic, what kind of advice do you give your sons?
Man, that's a good question, Butter. The advice I give them is, if you want to make it in this industry, you really can't. When you're a new artist, you really can't say no to a lot of things. Um, I'm not saying creative wise, because you can do that, but when it comes to working with people, when it comes to being a part of what's going on and shaking and moving on the scene, it's just like back in the day with the Temptations. You can't be picky. Sometimes you got one microphone and you got to pass that motherfucker around. Sometimes you in a hole in a wall and you got to rap for 5 people. Sometimes they don't say the name of your group correctly, but you still gotta go on. So a lot of times people let petty stuff like that stop them from going to the next level. Um, sometimes it might be something that might irk your nerve, but as a new artist, you got to be able to always prevail. That's my advice. Always prevail, because everything I look at as an obstacle. The microphones might not work well, or somebody took too much time on stage. Now you only got 2 minutes. Okay, you can't complain. You gotta just rock it. Because I think sometimes that happened to me, and it happened to me a lot of times, where I didn't get my just due, or I didn't quite, the situations wasn't always to my favor. In other words, those were my best times. And if I decided to let that curb me rocking the mic or not, I wouldn't be I wouldn't have made it where I made it to, because I would have just curved up and like, man, fuck it, these microphones fucked up. I'm not rapping. I'm leaving. And a lot of times, that one time that you do that might be your chance that you throwing in the trash. So always prevail. That's the advice to my sons and to all rappers trying to come up. Don't let no petty shit get in the way. Do you, and don't worry about what the fuck you looking like and all of that shit. Worry about what it is that you have to do, and then you'll prevail.
Tell me something. What do you think is behind the silence of Proof music just being celebrated, and his likeness was used in 8 Mile, all the stuff you was able to witness firsthand on your independent journey together, with Promatic, and what you learned from that, being independent, and the fight you guys had to, push a record like that. And it's not too many people that did as much work with Proof like that as you. What you learned from that situation?
I just learned that ultimately I learned that you don't need these labels, man. You don't need these labels. You don't need all of these tools that you think you need to make this shit happen. Because I've done it too many times. I've done it too many times with K-Stone, with the Dead Man, with Sick Notes, with Promatic, with my own shit. I've done it too many times to know that labels don't make or break you. Sometimes they can even fuck you up. So everybody's so in a hurry to be signed, but we gotta realize that we don't need them, especially in 2023. What the fuck you need a label for? You got all this access to the internet. You got all this access. So a lot of times people worry about the tools that they don't have instead of just making the fucking move. And then when you just make the moves, whoever is anybody gonna want to latch on to you anyway, because you hot. So a lot of times that's that's what you learn by doing it so many times and doing it on your own. I have my career has been up and down and up and down, many times, and it's like I know how to get it back hot. It's like it's not rocket science, but it is a formula to it, and everybody don't know the formula, and it's really dedication and hard work, and doing stuff that everybody ain't doing. But you have to be available. You have to be just like a dope nigga or weed nigga. You can't have bomb ass weed one day, and then you got some bullshit weed the next day, or you got weed all week, and then oh man they call you for weed, now you ain't got none. You gotta always have your shit available. Your shit always gotta be fire. And that's the same thing with this rap shit. That's how you stay consistent, and that's what I learned, man. If as long as you fire and you consistent, people gonna pay attention.
Uh, I want to ask you too, man. I remember going over there and to Signals, and just the legacy of your family tree. You being related to DeWitt and Moody Man and Blade. Going over there and seeing Blade in front of the house and stuff, man. Talk about your family, how rich your family legacy. I mean, considering like how big y'all was with Sick Notes and Blade with the street music and watching him, come up with his music and fight through, making sure the streets accept him as a legend. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man, I watched that whole process, man. It was crazy because Darnell, we grew up as cousins, and we played together as kids all the time. And when he started rapping, I didn't know that he was Blade Icewood, because when he was he we grew up and grew apart, and he was a little younger than me, but we just we didn't know each other was rapping like that. He knew I was rapping, but he was quiet with his shit, and I didn't know that. And when I started hearing about the Cheddar Boys and all of that, and because they had the East Side Cheddar Boys and the West Side Cheddar Boys, because really they started as you know started out like that, but then Blade Icewood started branching off, and I kept hearing about it. And then my daddy kept calling me and saying, "Hey man, your cousin rap too, man. He been trying to get at you." And I was like, "Who?" He's like, "Darnell, man. He said he bad too." Because that's the way my daddy talked. Like, yeah, he bad too, man. He got some bad shit out there. You need to get with him. And I was like, Darnell rapper, and I didn't know that he was Blade until literally I seen the video, one of his videos one time. I was like, oh shit, that's my cousin. And then I finally took my daddy's advice and called the nigga, and we excuse me, we hooked up. Um, we linked up, you know what I mean, and we did a couple of songs, and it was crazy. And then we started doing a couple of shows together, and then it seemed like soon after that, me and Proof, we started going out on tour with the Promatic stuff, and then that's when he ended up getting killed, and it was crazy, that how it happened. But if that didn't happen, you would have seen a whole lot more collaborations with Sick Notes and Blade, because we was getting ready to start going full-fledged family with it, like what I'm trying to do, what I'm doing now. But nevertheless, that's one of the features that I've been working on. I've been trying to really keep it under my hat. I got Blade's son. I'm getting ready to put him on the album, so we working on that right now as I speak to you. So by the time this comes out, he should be on the album. So Lil Blade.
Yeah, talk about your son's project.
Okay. So
what y'all grew up listening to.
okay, so my sons, I'm gonna let them talk too, but this group is called D.U.K, Detroit Underdog Kings, and that's me and my four sons. That's Dynamic, Kevin Bailey, um, Q, Lord Q is what I'm gonna call him, and number 5, which is Kamar Stone, which is he like the K Stone now because his name Kamar Stone,
Oh, okay.
but yeah. So yeah, them 4 guys, man, they make up of D.U.K, including myself. I'm featured on the album. It's crazy bananas because these guys is talented as fuck. All of my sons are so talented. They can rap their ass off and they produce. So you will hear all their production and all their artistry on the album. They some young guys, man, and I'm gonna do everything I can to make sure the world hear them. And I'm proud of them, man. And we dropped a single last year, Underdog Kings. It did pretty good. We got some thousands of views, no promotion really. We just kind of dropped it, and it was over, just over a loop. No real, no real beat to it. Just lyrics, and I just wanted to show everybody that these boys can rap. You know what I mean? That they some lyricists, and people need to go check that out first before they even dive into the album. Just go check out the Underdog Kings video. It's on our YouTube page. I think it's 313 DUK or DUK 313. Yeah.
Just tell them type in
Yeah.
Detroit Underdog.
Detroit Underdog.
Yeah, Detroit Underdog
Right
Kings.
Yeah,
Yeah, it should come up. So yeah, check that out. And that's the beginning. But these guys, some lyricists, and they got a new single dropping called Speech. The Speech that'll be dropping next month, and video is crazy. So I'm gonna let them talk a little bit about this. So I'm gonna introduce Kevin Bailey first. He's known already around the city. He got his own following. You know what I mean?
Little something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Well, I want to ask you something. Who is give me 3 of your favorite MC?
all time, like right now,
This
it's so
he got
subjective.
him on no order.
Very
Just all
It's a
time.
controversial question.
Just you on the hot seat.
I
It's,
give
it's,
you
it's
the
of all
first 3
time.
that pop in my head. I guess I need to say Jay-Z first. I'm gonna say Nas, and I'm gonna throw Eminem in there for Detroit.
That's a
right
good pick.
now. For right now.
Yeah, Jay-Z, Nas, and Eminem is a
If
good
we
pick.
talking like just great lyricists, great examples of consecutive, consecutiveness, just staying in the industry, staying great, that type of shit. But who I'm listening to, right? Who I'm
Let me ask the
listening.
next question.
Okay.
All right, well, this
Okay.
dynamic. Say who you are.
Dynamic. DGG
Dynamic.
silent. Look,
Word.
are you about to ask me the same question?
No, I want to ask you something.
Alright.
What's your 3 favorite producers?
My 3 favorite producers. Oh wow, that is a great one. I gotta start with Kanye for sure. God, this is crazy. Kanye number 1. I would probably go Timberland number 2.
That's a good
Number
pick.
3.
Yeah, he's going.
The number 3 sound like it's rough for you.
The 3 is rough because it's like I got a library of people because I'm really interested right now. But you know what? I'm gonna go with Dre.
Okay.
It was that hard for you to put Dre on your list, nigga?
Bro, that question was hard.
Dang, yo, I'm gonna tell y'all my 3 and 3 since we here. But because I'm old as fuck, so
That's what I said.
my favorite 3 is, I don't know, Jay-Z never makes my list because he just don't. I mean, he's dope, but I'm going with KRS-One. Like, nobody's fucking with KRS-One to me. And then I'm gonna have to go with Kendrick Lamar for these
Yeah,
times.
Kendrick Lamar.
Who's fucking with Kung Fu Kenny,
You
man?
tripping off the J line.
No, I mean, Jay-Z he's dope, man, but I don't know, man. I don't know.
He ain't for everybody.
He's
but
not
he
for
should
everybody.
be. No one's for everybody. But
Yeah,
No one
no.
is for everybody.
Yeah.
Right, that is a good one.
And my number 3 of all time talking all time. It have to be Redman.
Wow, that's a good one. I respect you for that.
Yeah, it have to be. So mine's is KR is one.
Kendrick Lamar.
Kendrick Lamar, Redman.
Yeah, that's you the only person that can come to that list right now.
Yeah.
I said other son or something.
Nas, Jay-Z, and my last one would probably be. It would probably be Biggie.
Okay.
Hey, Stone, you've been repping 8 Mile since we was fetuses, man. What you want the world to know about 8 Mile?
Man, I want the world to know that well, it's two different ways I want to explain that, because you got niggas from Detroit that look at 8 Mile like it really wasn't that hard of a place to come up, right? Some people like, oh, 8 Mile, there's some real killers on 8 Mile.
Yeah, no doubt.
It's some real crazy shit going down on 8 Mile. It always have been since I was a little bitty kid. So when people try to act like 8 Mile is like the softest place in Detroit, that's a fucking lie. That's the first thing I want people to know. And that's for niggas that is from the city. You might be from exit number 9. You might be from Joy Road or whatever. You might be from the east side, right? 8 Mile running the wrong way. But sometimes the people that's not from that type of area, they look at 8 Mile like, I don't fuck around on 8 Mile like that. But 8 Mile is crazy. And then secondly, people who from out of town looking at this fucking 8 Mile movie, or in which I love the 8 Mile movie. I was in the 8 Mile movie. But they look at this movie and they dreaming about 8 Mile being like that movie and whatever. They come from all over. They come from overseas, and they want to go to 8 Mile. They want to look at 8 Mile, and they thinking it's something that it ain't. So I just, for all the people who's doing that, I want them to realize that no, you're not gonna see nobody rapping on the corner of 8 Mile if you come to 8 Mile. It's not gonna be a battle. You're not gonna see Eminem walking up the street. None of that. Okay. So that's for them. So, but for me, 8 Mile is my home. I grew up literally one block from that road. I went to school in that area. I grew up in that area. You know, I done dirt in that area. I sold my first drugs in that area. I think I shot my first person in that area. I had my first fight on 8 Mile. And I lost my virginity on 8 Mile. So that's everything for me. 8 Mile is real to me. It's not just a movie or, you know, or some place that you think you're going to see a battle at. Like, it's real people living there, struggling, dying. You know, some of my homies just came up missing. You know, one of my homies died off fentanyl. It's shit going on 8 Mile. And I love the people on 8 Mile. And every time I come to the city, I go to 8 Mile. I just left 8 Mile just before I came over here. So that's what it is to me. It's home. It's my background. If I was a damn video game character, my background would be 8 Mile.
Underdog Kings.
Yeah.
All the things you've seen in life with touring and you know, big albums, Ichiban Records, and all this stuff with Shady Records and stuff. What makes them stand out to you? What makes them different?
Well, see, I'm teaching these guys the old school way, and trust me, it's not easy. We fight all the time about what moves we gonna make, how we want to look, how we want to be presented, what we want to sound like. And it's been a few years now working together with them on this project. And so, I mean, we did a hell of a job at making everybody's style mashed together and bringing the new school with the old school. We did a great job. So when I'm looking at them and I'm seeing what they're doing, what that's different, it's like these young guys are rapping for the money and for the gold chain or for the bitches or the whatever. These niggas is rapping because they love this shit. They do it. My son makes beats all day in his room. Kamar Stone, he make beats all day in his room. If he's not working, he is in his room making beats. He love it. He lives it. That's all Kevin does. He does shows constantly. If he ain't working, he's somewhere doing some shows, doing some solo shit. If I call this nigga, I'm bouncing down some music or a video. He's shooting somebody's video or his own. Dorian the same way. Dynamic, he's the same way. These guys love it. That's the difference. And when you hear the music, you're gonna see how they love it. You know what I mean? It's like Dynamic, the way he works, he takes a little longer to get things done. But when he finish, it's incredible. He takes his time. He's tedious with it. He's really passionate about his shit. And when I look at these new artists, the way they rapping, they chasing the beat. They don't know what direction they're going in. They following what everybody else is doing. These guys are actually have their own vision of what they want to sound like, look like, and how they want to move. They just don't want to sound like Pooh Shiesty or the next nigga that's rapping. They trying to sound like D.U.K. And everybody gonna see that on the album, that these boys is mixing the old with the new. They got totally different styles. None of them rap the same. So you're gonna know the distinctive difference between them all. So it's crazy. We got trap. We got one trap rapper Q, Trap Lord Q. When you hear him, that's our other. He's not here right now. He's actually, he's incarcerated. They just took him into custody, actually this morning, because he had some things he had to go deal with, so he got to sit down for a few years. But he's on the album. We got plenty of footage of him, and everybody gonna still get to know him as an artist. And when he comes home, it's gonna be more crazy than Yayo getting out. You feel me? So
more records that we can drop in the meantime.
Right. So you're gonna hear from Lord Q.
More records for him.
So yeah, man, that's what I see. These guys is doing it for the hip hop. They're not doing it for the chains and the bitches.
Right.
Hey, can you hook me
I
up?
got one last question. Y'all did some. You part of great things with Sick Nose, your sons, and just Detroit hip hop to a core. Y'all had the record store. You was part of Sick Nose production team. I remember having great times at the studio with so many different artists. What's the most thing you learned from Proof and you miss from Proof?
Man, I missed the fuck out of Proof, man. But I'm gonna tell you what Proof taught me. He taught me to be fearless in this hip hop game. When I first started fucking with Proof, and I known Proof before we started doing Promatic. Excuse me, but when we first started actually doing music and really getting into that shit, he taught me the business part, how to get the money out of it, in which for years I've had record deals and didn't know exactly how to collect my money properly. He taught me that, and he also taught me to be fearless with my artistry. Fuck what they talking about. Rap about what you gonna rap about, and feel how you gonna feel, and perform how you wanna perform. And if you look at Proof's career and you see how he moved exactly that way. He didn't give a fuck. Proof, I remember he had one cover, I think it was a flyer he had. That nigga was on the toilet, sitting on the toilet, like, when is Proof dropping? It takes balls to pull your pants down and get on the fucking toilet and take a picture like that, right? He taught me that. Do you.
Man, thank y'all, man. Just keep the music floating to me, so I can keep my shows with that new shit, dog, man.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. We gonna send you these videos. The D.U.K, Underdog Kings. We got and the new one, The Speech, that's getting ready to drop. So we gonna make sure you get that. So hopefully y'all can play it on here. or wherever however you doing it.
Word.
But I appreciate it, man. You a legend yourself, DJ Butter, and you
Thank you.
always been around doing your thing, man. So nothing but respect and love, and I'm sure the boys appreciate you. And when you come in,
Absolutely.
when you come in town, hey yo, anything else y'all want to say, man?
Check out my solo tape, Blue Angel. All my little, EPs on my own.
Dope.
Y'all can get a glimpse
Just
of what
want
I'm
to tell
about.
you, thank you for having us. You know what I'm saying? And
Okay.
check out Detroit Underdog Kings when we drop. Okay, the whole thing is going down.
Yep. That's what's up, man. D.U.K. 2023.
Thank y'all, man. All right.
For sure.
Thank you.